Hello, I'm JD Moore, co-founder of Saber Foundation, Skaters Advancing Brain Education and Research. I am also a real estate professional, business owner, and just an advocate of the youth and the Central Valley in a whole. And I want to introduce also the other half, the other co-founder.
Vihar Patel, also a co-founder of Saber Foundation, Skaters Advancing Brain Education and Research. Also from Corcoran, California, the Central Valley. I currently reside in Sacramento, employed by UC Davis Health, a neuropathologist by practice and a skater by lifestyle.
There you go. Saber Foundation is Skaters Advancing Brain Education and Research.
Yeah.
We are a nonprofit 501c3. And our mission is to not only advocate for the youth regarding mentorship, helping them with their career paths, but also advocating for kind of brain disease, brain health, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what Saber Foundation means to you.
Yeah, so as you said, our mission is to raise awareness for brain health and education, brain health and disease. So our mission is to raise awareness for brain health and disease, and to advocate for the youth. Those are the main two pillars of our mission. And it's created because, it started from skateboarding. Mm-hmm. It's skaters advancing brain education and research. So the first part is skateboarding. And, as we know, you and I grew up, in the streets of Corcoran, as they say, skateboarding, and I think throughout my life and probably yours that you could relate to, skateboarding has been a fundamental piece of that, of my journey. It was actually my reason to go into medicine to get to where I'm at right now. And so when I got to the point where I can finally, finish my training and become an actual practicing physician, I realized at that time that, my journey, a lot of it has been through what I've learned from skateboarding. I've been able to apply all that into my journey, my education, my track. A lot of those skills that I developed as a skater kind of translated into that. And so I felt like, to me, skateboarding was a big part of who I am. So I wanted to figure out, how can I give back to this, right? Like one end of the spectrum is skateboarding, the other end of the spectrum is medicine. These are the two things that kind of created me. So what can I or we do to give back to these communities, right?
Right.
And so that's kind of the inception of Saber Foundation. That's why it's Skaters Advancing Brain Education Disease. I'm a neuropathologist, so I deal with diagnosing diseases of the brain and the nervous system. And so we figured, and actually my inspiration to go into skateboarding stems from the nervous system, right? So it all kind of fits in that perspective.
Right,
and then you have your own reasoning for skateboarding and what it's done.
Right. Actually, we probably would never have crossed paths.
I think so.
Without skateboarding, I'm a little bit older, 4 years or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But without skateboarding, I don't think we would be sitting here today. Honestly,
yeah, probably.
Who knows? But the fact that skateboarding was that kind of silver lining,
Exactly.
or that kind of parallel kind of connection there, is pretty dope, to be honest with you. Because what it did was, it gave me experiences. It gave me the opportunity to kind of meet new people outside of what I was used to.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming from a sports background.
Exactly.
And just like the circle of individuals who I was around. It kind of got me out of my kind of norm, and started like connecting with others. Whether it's younger folks, people from different backgrounds, people from different that come from different places and stuff like that. So because as you know, as active, street skaters, like we travel. Right?
Yeah.
So we're always looking for spots. We're always looking for different skate parks. And honestly, just to kind of dive into like my own selfish reasons of why I love the art and the sport of skateboarding is because I always had a fascination with finding new spots, but not only finding new spots, but having like my boys wreck. You know what I mean? Go out there,
Rip 'em.
Go out there and thrash some stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what gave me kind of like, I put a smile on my face.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of see their expression and their experience of seeing a new spot, or seeing a spot they see on TV or on the internet, and we actually could go travel. Because I was one of the older ones.
Yeah.
So I was like one of the few that had a car.
Yeah, exactly.
So we would go travel Fresno, obviously Visalia, all the local areas in the Central Valley. but also throughout California,
Yeah.
right? Lompoc, San Luis Obispo.
Yeah, I remember going there.
Right. The 210s,
Yeah.
the 777.
The 777, yep.
Although none of us hit it, there's I think it's like a 14 with a handrail.
Yeah, there's some
like
crazy handrail out there, yeah.
Yeah, and some ledges on the top of San Luis High. So without skateboarding, I would never have these experiences. I would never have these moments where they're really priceless and you really can't recreate them. And to do them with your boys that you hang around with and you guys have a common, camaraderie or common interest in something, a common passion, was super dope to me. So in a nutshell, skateboarding is definitely like a big part of what we do as a nonprofit because it aligned us. And at least I use it as a way of, you can connect with folks in different ways. It's not the stuff you think that's inside the box. Think outside the box, and there may be ways to connect with others in those manners. Yeah. And on top of that, we want to advocate for the youth because we grew up together, as far as in this small town of Corcoran. So that in conjunction with, brain health, that's a big piece. Right? Yeah. And just medicine in general, health and wellness in general. Exactly. But also, anything you want to set your mind to, we want to kind of help promote that and give exposure. And what's interesting is that our nonprofit has a lot to do with exposure, and that was kind of my role as our circle of friends was to try to expose my boys to skate spots, skate parks. You know what I mean? And I was usually behind the camera capturing these moments. So it's been pretty dope, man. And I think once people get to hear our story and get to, know who we are and what we're all about and what we're trying to do, I think people will get on board, excuse the pun, and support. Yeah,
no, I agree. And I have to say, like, skateboarding for me has been something that really, as all skaters know, you get to push the limits of yourself. Skateboarding is not really like a team sport, like it's an individual thing, right? You can skate by yourself. You're literally competing against yourself, right? So you kind of learn how to grow as an individual. You learn what are the boundaries, what are my capabilities, how far can I push them? In the skate world, you all know about this when you start. It starts with an ollie, right? But then you progress forward. And you can actually take that same mentality and apply it to your life outside of skateboarding, right? And you can see, okay, for me, the biggest thing was back in the early 2000s, skateboarding was huge. I mean, it's still huge, but it was huge at that time, right? Like the skate park was filled with kids always skating. And it had this rep in society in general that skaters are just like hooligans or, they're never gonna amount to anything. And we don't know. Yeah, there's a stigma against it. And that really irritated me because I did well in high school, right? So I had good grades and stuff like that. And I was a good skater. So to me, it was kind of a way to show people, like, to really just put the middle finger up and say, you can't put me in a box, like screw your stereotypes.
Right. We're more than what you think.
Exactly, right? So it gave me an opportunity to say, okay, you don't think that I can make it in academics because I'm a skater? Well, screw you, I'm gonna show you it can be done, right? And so when you take that mentality and you apply that outside of skateboarding, you can do a lot. You'd be surprised by how much you can actually do once you set your mind to it.
Touch on a few things, V. Well, first off, my name is JD Moore. I'm from Corcoran, California. Born and raised in the Central Valley. Now reside in Tulare. I work out of Visalia, and our nonprofit is kind of stapled in the Central Valley. But V, give them a little background of like where you come from, your quick backstory, and then also get into like how skateboarding, like what are those tangible things that skateboarding does or gives you or gives us that allows us to kind of succeed outside of skateboarding?
Yeah. So, just briefly, so high school, obviously Corcoran is like our home base, right? That's where we were. I went to UC Davis for undergrad. Then I went to med school. I did my residency training at University of Wisconsin in pathology. And then I went to Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston for my neuropathology fellowship. And I came back now at UC Davis as a faculty member. And I practice neuropathology. That's what I do. And in addition to that, when it comes to Saber Foundation, we created that, just a little over 3-4 years ago now.
August 2021.
Yeah, exactly, August 2021. And again, this stems back to how skateboarding has contributed to, you know, my life journey and yours. And for me, one of the biggest things is skateboarding teaches you, you have to become okay. You have to accept that you're gonna fail. You know, I hate to use the word fail, but that's what's
part
gonna
of life.
happen. It's part of life. I've experienced failure outside of skateboarding, and you know, even in the academic realm, I've experienced it. Like in high school, everything was gravy, but college was not a straight shot for me. You know, I experienced fail. The first time I failed anything was in college, actually. So the thing with the skater mentality is because you're always pursuing something and you have to try so many times to get it, yes, you will fail multiple times, but you will ultimately achieve your goal because you have that dedication, you have the tenacity,
Perseverance.
you have the persistence. In your mind, you're gonna say, I'm gonna get this done, I'm gonna figure out how to do it, and I'm gonna go and get it. And then you will eventually make that thought into a reality, right? And that's what skateboarding teaches you.
That's powerful.
And if you can apply that to the rest of your life, whatever you can think of, you can find a way to make it happen, right? Even if the odds are stacked against you, you could make it happen. In this world, in this age, almost anything is possible, right? It might sound cliche to say, but it actually is true.
The information age, there's nothing that's really not available to you.
Yeah.
So long as you apply yourself with the right mindset.
Yeah.
And I think that, and I want to get into that, like the skate mentality, the skate of mind per se.
Yeah.
You know, it really, what it does, at least for me, it just humbles you really, really quick. You know, you can think you're one thing one day, but you know, you step on your board and there may be a pebble that's on the ground that you don't see, and then you're gonna eat it.
You're gonna eat it.
So it just humbles you right away, and what it does is it teaches you, okay, what are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna get back on your board and make it happen, or you're gonna quit? You know, and that's again a big you know, pillar in everybody's livelihoods, right? You're gonna have these ups and downs, and it's all about what you're gonna do about when you're down. And actually, you know, how you're going to deal with it when you're up as well. Because a lot of times, you like VR was mentioning, you know, you did so well from an academic standpoint in high school, and you had no idea what it felt like to kind of fail on that level on the educational side in college.
Yeah.
So what do you do with that?
Yeah,
Do you ball up into a fetal position and not do anything, or do you make the most out of it? And you know, I mean, he could tell you better than I can, but now you're a full-on physician. Been an award-winning physician at that, and we've done what we can to leverage what we've accomplished to give back, and that's what this is all about.
Exactly.
We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, bootstrapped just between him and I, with some support from others. I want to give a shout out to Simon Ibarra, Gabriel Ramirez, Jesse Tapia.
Yeah, absolutely.
And honestly, some of even the OGs that we've skated with in the past and were before our generation, the Aaron Gomes of the world, Robert Ortiz,
absolutely.
Josh Otello, Kevin Rue, et cetera, et cetera. So, without them, we wouldn't have a path.
No us.
There would be no us in regards to where we're at today.
Yeah.
Salute to them. But more importantly, it's about who's next. You know, what generation is going to take this baton and move forward? And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to have something to give back to the next generation, which we got guys like Pushwood, who are doing their thing out in Corcoran, Do Right, who's out in the Central Valley, no context, is doing his thing as well, Nick. So we want to just continue to push the culture, push positive energy. But at the end of the day, we're doing it within our nonprofit to support a number of different channels, all at the exact same time, with the mentality of a skateboarder, because that's what got us to where we're at. Yeah. And it helps us propel and move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the other things I can touch on, right now we've been talking a lot about the skate aspect of things, but when we talk about, youth advocacy and what we bring to the table in terms of that, especially from my angle, coming from, and for both of us, we're essentially, he is technically a mentor to me, right? He's older than me. When we were younger, like, he's the adult figure, right? I was like 14 years old. He was already 18, right? And he's taking us on trips to go skate and this and that. So he's already the mentor in my head. Just like the OGs that we mentioned before, Robert Ortiz and these guys, when we were younger, they were the generation that were in their 20s and skating. And so we were seeing them as like, you could still skate in your 20s, you know, because you're thinking about like what life is going to be like when you're an adult and stuff like that. It's a very different perception. You know, when I was 17 and I was sitting there thinking about it, I was like 30 something, you're a full-fledged adult with responsibilities. You have families and kids. I was like, what's skateboarding going to be in your life at that time, right? I didn't realize that I could still skate, and I'm actually still doing it, even with everything that I'm doing. So going back to that, like it's mentorship, right? He's older than me. He has more experience than I do, and he can guide me to how I need to navigate this world. So once we get to our position where we've accomplished our major tasks and now we're serving as a responsible figure, we have the opportunity to, if we want to give back to the youth, right? To help guide them to their journey. Because, you know, we're all born with a blank slate, right? So nobody is born knowing everything and what they need to be doing. So we want to be able to provide these youth the exposure and opportunities, especially in underserved areas like our home community of Corcoran, right? We have 3 traffic lights in our hometown, all in succession. That gives you an idea of how big the place can really be.
Right.
And so we want to say, hey, we started from here, here's where we got to, right?
You can do it too.
And you can do it too. I'm not going to gatekeep this thing for you. I'm not going to say you have to find it out on your own because I did it and that's how you're going to have to do it. No, it doesn't have to be difficult. You know, we've been through this. We can help guide you through this. If you're interested in pursuing medicine, we've created programs to get you exposed to medicine. For me, pathology was a big thing. I had no idea what a pathologist really did, right? When I was in UC Davis, I just knew that they do autopsies. And I thought I was gonna be a neurologist. So I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna do pathology. Like, there's no connection there. And then I found out when I'm in med school, like this is actually the stuff that I really enjoyed studying and learning about. So then I became a pathologist. The thing that I wrote off as a career, I ended up becoming, right? So that just tells you the amount of information that's out there that just we don't know about or don't have exposure to or didn't have access to because we didn't know about it. So my job is to let these kids know, like, hey, when you think about medicine, people always think about like family doctor, internal medicine, surgeon, the things that they see out that is generally in front of them, but they don't think about all the other possibilities, right? And so we want to give them the exposure to see the other sides of medicine that they have not seen before so that they can actually think about it and be like, hey, maybe this is something for me. And then if they do that, we can actually help guide them to that process. And so that's a lot of the stuff that we do in the education realm.
That's interesting because it's so funny. You don't really know what's beyond what's on the surface. Like you're kind of exposed to certain things just because of media and just the way kind of life is sometimes.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting, and you know, I thought of something when you were going in on that, is skateboarding, man. Because looking at architecture from a naked eye may look like nothing, but from a skateboarder's lens, you're thinking, oh man, this is the most amazing a piece of public property that I can showcase my skills on this architecture or on this construction that was not intended for skateboarders, but we make the most out of it.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes into the whole thought process of you can make the most out of anything. If you put your mind to it, you have a creative mindset, you're able to kind of really look at stuff outside the box and not be so pigeonholed on what the media is telling you,
right,
and what your environment is telling you.
Yeah.
If you really dive into who you are as an individual and you have certain goals and passions, you'll start to see this magic and within things that you would just look past with the naked eye. You know, so skateboarding has definitely done that for me. I know it's done that for V.
Yeah.
And going into the mentorship side, V, talk about when it comes to your profession, how big was mentorship for you on the professional level? Because we talk about it from a nonprofit perspective, but there's a reason why.
Yes.
Because I can tell you this, shout out to my dad. Like I got into skateboarding because I wanted to be around a lot of my boys who I play football with end up picking up a skateboard. And I didn't want to not be around my friends. You know, shout out to Josh Otello, AKA Choots. So I wanted to be around my boys. So what I decided to do is pick up a camera. And I bring that up because my dad actually influenced me in that way. So he was kind of my mentor when it comes to that capacity. And in a lot of capacities, really, because he's my dad. But he was the guy behind the camera capturing our football games, our basketball games, family reunions. He always had the camera. For some reason, and I asked my dad this too before, like what got you to pick up a camera? And he really didn't have an answer, but I'm so grateful that he did, because now I'm like a second generation like videographer, second generation, you know, I guess I don't want to say photographer, but more of a videographer, capturing those video moments, capturing those, skate trips and just behind the scenes stuff that we're kind of hanging out and things of that nature. That without those captured moments, like we would never have anything to go back on.
Yeah.
And now we're pre YouTube. So,
yeah, we're pre YouTube.
Yeah. So we didn't have YouTube back in the day like that. So therefore. We had the video camera, and we had 8mm cassette tapes and VHS tapes, which my kids have no idea what those are, but we still have those today, and I could now upload those digitally onto the internet. Now they'll forever be archived for us and our kids and our kids' kids, and just for the generations and the youth that comes after us. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, V, talk about mentorship, how that affected you, how did that promote you, how did that help you and launch you to your career today?
Yeah, absolutely. Before I dive into that, I just have to say, as a skater, all you guys out there would definitely appreciate your filmer, right?
Yeah. Like my back still hurts a little bit, but it's all right.
But yeah, so I mean, for me, mentorship in the professional aspect really started on in college at UC Davis, because as I mentioned, it was not a straight shot for me, right? So I got to the point very early on that I needed some support, because I was out there goofing off and doing dumb shit, and I got myself into a situation where my grades dropped severely, right? To the point where I was actually dismissed at one point from UC Davis because of that. And I had to find out what I needed to do about that, right? It was kind of a surprise to me. Thinking about it retrospectively, I should have seen it coming. But when you're 18, 19 years old, there's so much stuff that's happening in your life at that time that you're probably not putting things into context unless you have a support environment already in place for you to help you navigate those realms, which I absolutely did not have, right? So I had to talk to my counselor. I had to explain to him, like, look, you've seen my track record in high school. You know what I'm capable of. Give me another shot to let me show you what I'm able to do. Luckily, he believed in me. He gave me a second shot. And so that was my first experience of like someone looking out for me, someone believing in me, and then me having to take the baton and then now following through on it. And medical school, I had experiences with professors, right? So I would, biochemistry was something that I just realized that I had a nice interest in. I really enjoyed what I was learning, and I had a good functional relationship, a professional relationship with my biochemistry professor, and he was super supportive in me and telling me, like, look, if you want to do this, you should go ahead and, there are undergraduate students here that you could teach them biochemistry. So I started doing volunteer just sessions to teach these undergraduate students. Then it started coming into my own peers in medical school, like my med student colleagues. I would teach them biochemistry, right? And then when it got into residency, this is where a lot of the stuff started to take off. I had at least 2 to 3 different mentors in the residency aspect. And these were individuals who really supported me in what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go, right? Not only were they there to reassure me, like, hey, all this stuff is new, but don't worry, when you go through the process, when you do what X, Y, and Z, you'll get to the same point that we're at, And at first I found that extremely hard to believe because of what I got myself into. Residency is quite difficult. And pathology is completely different from what you usually get exposed to in medical school. It's a brand new thing. And so I had to learn to navigate that. Not only that, but I had people who actually believed in me and gave me opportunities that would help me get to where I'm going to be, right? They saw the potential and they said, hey, I'm going to give you this chance. And I took it, right? Everywhere I could take those chances, I took them. And so, they were instrumental in me being the person that I am today, not only through the knowledge that they provided, but the opportunities that they provided. And because of them, I am here where I'm at, right? I took the exams and blah, blah, blah to get to where I'm at, but I didn't do it by myself, right? I didn't get to this position on my own. I got here through the support and help of others. And those are the people that support me, my family members, my friends, and the mentors. And I would not be here without any of those people. So I just have to say, like, mentorship is extremely important. And now I'm finding ways to pay it back, right? Now that I'm at UC Davis, I'm actually in the medical school curriculum. I'm a faculty member in 3 different places, right? I'm now the program director of our residency in pathology, of all things, right? So I am actually involved in a multitude of universes in the education realm where I can be that mentor. I'm the pathology specialty advisor. So everywhere where I need to be, just so that I can provide, help and exposure and mentorship to those who need it.
Nice.
Right.
Nice. So let's get into what we got going, what we have planned coming up.
Yeah.
We have a couple exciting things coming up that we want to share with all the folks and the public.
Yeah.
You may have already seen a few things going around: flyers, newspapers, publications, things on the internet, social media. But let's dive into what we plan, what's on the horizon, right? What's coming up, and also let's kind of wrap it up with where the public can help us. What can those who want to support us? How can they help us?
Yes.
How can they reach us?
Yeah.
And touch on a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the next biggest thing is on October 4th, right? Saturday, October 4th, in our hometown of Corcoran, there's a big cotton festival that happens annually every year. It's a big thing. All of the Boswell Park and a bunch of the nearby kind of areas are filled with vendors. There's a health fair that's going on. There's like a pickleball tournament, and there's an actual skate event hosted by yours truly, right?
Saber Foundation.
And so what we're doing on that day in the morning in the health fair, we're actually providing, because we're a nonprofit and we're doing Skaters Advancing Brain Education and Research, right? We're raising awareness about health and education. We're actually providing free services to the community, right? And this is healthcare services. So blood pressure screenings, we do diabetes screening, we look at cardiovascular risk factors, right? And we're doing this for the population for free that are present that day. We'll have physicians on site to be able to help consult with some of the results. And we're also going to have volunteers that help carry this process out. Some of them are going to be high school students from Corcoran High School, right? You have to give back to your home community, right? That's what we're doing. We also have volunteers who are from COS, from nursing programs in COS that are going to help out. I actually have medical students from UC Davis traveling down, right? Traveling 3.5 hours down to the Central Valley to help out with something like this. So in the morning from 11 to 2 p.m., that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing the health screening. And then in the afternoon, we have our Cotton Jam. This is our 4th annual Cotton Jam that we're going to do. And this is essentially a skate kind of event for the community, right? For the community of Corcoran, for the community of the Central Valley, and anybody who wants to participate and be there. And what we're going to do is essentially it's going to have free music, live music. There's going to be a DJ there. Obviously, there's going to be skateboarding. We have some professionals that are going to be present. Since it's the Central Valley, we have Ryan Johnson from Fresno, California. We got Jesse Pius from Visalia. We're going to have local skate companies out there, Do Right Skateboarding. We got No Contact Skateboarding with Nick, as was previously mentioned. We got a couple other people that are coming up from Kingsburg, and a few other people that are kind of going to be vendors that are present there. There's actually someone that's going to be out there giving out free snow cones to the skaters, so shout out to them for doing what they're doing. And it's going to be highlighted with our main guest of honor, as we say, Norman Woods and Collage Skateboards, right? So that's going to be the professional skateboarder. And the other one that we just got confirmed is Seva. So you guys all know Seva as well, and he's Battle of the Barracks winner, right? So we're going to have a Battle of the Barracks winner in Corcoran, California, in our small little town, right? So it's going to be a cool event. Come hang out, chill, skate, get to see the pros. We're going to be giving out a lot of stuff. We're going to have skateboards, complete skateboards to raffle off. We're going to be giving out cash for tricks, and we're also going to have a $1,000 best trick. So as a skater, the money can be difficult to come by, especially when you're young. So $1,000 is a good amount of money for someone that's going to be busting some crazy stuff, right? And so we just want you guys to come out there, have a good time. If you want to come and check out the screening process, feel free to do so. If you want to come and hang out at the skate event, completely free. We're not charging you guys anything, right? So we just want you to enjoy it. And I also want to mention that we also have a couple other major sponsors in that realm. Vault Board Shop from Davis, California. They're actually the one that's providing the complete skateboards to be given away, right? So go check them out. If you're ever in Davis, California, the Sacramento area, that's where you want to go and check those guys out. Super helpful. And also Fundamental Skateboards from San Diego. They're actually a skate company that has a very similar lens to what we do, right? They do skateboarding combined with mental health awareness. And they actually have a collaboration board that came out recently called The Community. It was by Saber Walker and Fundamental Skateboards. And interestingly enough, we partnered with them. We have a collaboration with them where 10% of all proceeds from the sales of those boards will be donated to Saber Foundation. And we're also going to have a few of those boards out there. So I'll either be able to raffle them off, and we'll have a few of them that could be able to be purchased as well. So, it takes a community to do the stuff that we do. He and I have created Saber Foundation, but there's no way that we can do all this stuff on our own with all of everything else that we got going on in our lives, right? So it absolutely takes a community to do what we do. And when it comes down to it, this is why we need support.
100%. So in a nutshell, like what we're asking is for the public to just come out and enjoy the festivities, enjoy some of the events that we have that we're hosting and that we've created and what we'll have on October 4th. Again, like VR was saying, basically our in the health fair tent, we're gonna under the health fair tent from 11 to 3. Or I'm sorry, 11 to 3. Yeah. 11 to 3, we'll have that screening underneath the health tent, under the health fair side of the Cotton Festival for the day. And then from 4 to 7 is when we'll have our Cotton Jam. And this is our 4th year. This is our 4th year doing this. So we have gotten our feet wet a few times, and we're excited for this 4th year, and we're excited for years to come. But we cannot continue to do this. We cannot continue to upgrade, improve, and scale, and give more to the people, give more to the community without your support. So if you want to help out, the least you can do is check us out on our social medias. Definitely come out to the event. But where it really matters is where we can get some financial support. We're bootstrapping this ourselves. I went as far as getting my grant writing credentials so I can start writing grants for us and applying for grants to get funding. But it really comes down to the community. So what we're asking is if you want to support skateboarding, if you want to support youth advocacy and health and wellness, and support us at Saber Foundation, feel free to reach out to us. We'll have some of our information in the bio. Saberfoundation.org is our website, and you can reach out to us at info@saberfoundation.org as our email as well. So feel free to reach out. There'll be a bunch of links and bio and stuff in the bio, a bunch of information in the bio, and looking forward to hearing from you guys. So it's gonna be a great October 4th weekend. Come out and join us, and we'll be even better years to come.
Yeah.
So,
and the one thing I would like to highlight is because we're a 501c3, all donations are tax exempt, right? So you will get a tax deduction for donating to Saber. And the other thing is, we're a nonprofit. The money doesn't go to us. Right. It goes to the community. So whatever we get goes directly to the community. This is why we're able to give out what we give out, because the money that we're getting from other places and donors and sponsors and things like that. So if you want to support your own community, support us so that we can support the community.
That's right. That's right. And adding to that, as far as the tax exemption and things of that nature, obviously reach out to your own CPAs and your own tax advisors, but we can provide a tax ID number. And regarding how the funds are being allocated, when you're a 501c3, just a quick educational piece here, everything is public record. So everything that we do is justified and verified where the money's going. So if you're worried, is it going to go to this, is it going to go to that? Just know that the support that we get goes right back to the community. It goes right back into our mission, So, but we cannot sustain and we cannot scale and improve without your help. Again, so in closing, we want to just say, thank you for all the supporters that we've had and we continue to have, all the donors, all the supporters. We do have some sponsorship tiers that we will also have some information that we can provide for you. Reach out to us. We'll provide those sponsorship tiers. There's a number of things that we can do to get your brand promoted, get your business promoted, get your name out there. If you want to work with us and support us. So look out for some more to come. And man, any last words?
Just looking forward to the Cotton Festival, the Cotton Jam, and the health screening. So, hopefully we'll see you guys out there. And thank you once again.
Peace.